If you told me a few years ago that I'd eventually ship over 10,000 orders selling stickers online, I probably wouldn't have believed you. Because none of this started with some genius business idea or plan. I genuinely like stickers, I liked art, and I liked being creative. Now, after thousands of customers, endless mistakes, long nights, and years of building Valor Vinyls from scratch, I've learned a lot about business, people, and honestly, myself. So in this video, I want to break down some of the biggest lessons I have learned going from $0 all the way to 10,000 orders so you can learn from my experience. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned is you just need to start before you're ready. When I started Valor Vinyls, I genuinely had no clue what I was doing, and that's the whole point. You're never going to feel ready to do something you've never done, but you have to put your best foot forward and just start. No business experience, no ad experience, no Shopify experience, no systems, nothing. Starting from scratch. I was learning everything in real time while still working full time. And that's the beauty of it. And that's what you have to do in order to get further than what you were doing beforehand. And I think a lot of people massively overestimate how prepared successful businesses were at the start. I mean, I love certain photos like this one here, alright? Keep a look at it and I'll explain. First, you need to make it exist, even if it looks messy or complicated, because you can always work out the kinks and make it neater or more efficient later. It's a perfect photo to remember. Most things begin messy. The logo changes, the website changes, the products evolve, the content improves, the systems improve. You figure things out as you go. If I waited until everything was perfect, Valor Vinyls would probably not exist, okay? Now, one of the biggest turning points was realizing people don't just buy products anymore, especially these days. They usually need to have something more behind the product now to fully win someone over. They buy personality, identity, story, or culture. So you need to keep this in mind. In the online world today, there are thousands of places selling stickers or any other goods and services. So why would they choose you? Why would they choose Valor Vinyls? That's when I started leaning harder into military culture, artist collaborations, humor, storytelling, community, creating products that actually aligned with the brand I was building. There are so many ways to go about this, but you need to think about what your customer actually would want. I wanted the brand to feel alive for myself, not just an empty online store with where the products would stay and people could buy. No one's gonna buy that. You have to have, as I said, the personality and story. I think that was one of the biggest reasons the business started growing, because I made the brand feel alive. Now, this one may seem a bit obvious, but it's something to definitely take note of, and it's important. There were definitely periods where motivation disappeared completely. Long days, packing orders at midnight, failed ads, constant problem solving, trying to balance the work, life, and business all at once. Spinning those plates, trying to juggle it, okay? But one thing I learned very quickly, motivation means absolutely nothing without systems and discipline. The people who build something meaningful usually aren't the most motivated. Motivation can come and go. Remember that, okay? Remember it. They were the most consistent. They showed up daily even when they didn't want to. They checked off the to-do list. They improved content, improving products, improving systems, improving the customer experience. There was always something to do and something to tick off for the day. Those small improvements made every single day compounded over time, compounded into something successful today. And that's what's really builds the business, is being consistent. Another massive lesson here is great products alone usually aren't enough anymore. You need the right attention. So we had talking about story and personality, but now we're looking at and focusing on attention. Learning content creation and ads completely changed the business. So there is so much more that goes into that. Finding out what works and what doesn't. Some videos may flop, some ads burned money, some launches completely failed. But you need to look at that, dive deep, and figure out where were your failure points. You start to understand hooks. Okay, where can I make a hook better? How can I keep the attention at the start for longer? Eventually you start understanding the hooks mean something, the storytelling means something, about branding, about psychology, about attention, about where you can lead people, and the call to action at the end of the video. There is so much that goes into the content scheme, but you need to start figuring out how to capture people's attention. You realize that the business is partially products, yes, but also communication to the customers. Can you make people feel something? Can you make people believe in your products? Can you build a brand that people actually want to be a part of? How do you make a customer stay? There are so many questions to ask amongst this, but you need to keep in mind that all of this matters more than people think. The next one is about building systems. This one is very, very important when running the game by yourself. At the start, everything feels chaotic. You're doing everything, you're playing every role. You're doing customer service, packing, inventory, content, ads, emails, website updates, everything yourself. You name it, you get the picture, right? But eventually I realized if I wanted the business to grow properly, I needed systems. I needed ways to make things as efficient and automated as possible. Process, organization, repeatability. Alright, I created a standing operating procedure. I made sure I knew every single task that I had to do and the best way to do it and the most efficient. If I could use AI in some way, then I would use that to help me. If I could outsource it to anyone else, I would think about that as well, alright? Because building a business isn't just about working hard. Anyone can work hard. It's about building an engine that can last, finding ways to make things more efficient while still keeping all the quality high. That changed everything, and I'm happy to break down some of the best systems I've built to help me with my business. Just let me know in the comments. This next one is a little bit like a Kung Fu Panda kind of lesson, but it's something you don't think of until later. Through all of this, you start to realize the reward isn't actually just the money. Or the milestones, to be fair. They are definitely something to check off, but you start to become genuinely proud of just building something. Seeing people connect with the art, watching customers come back time and time again, seeing artists excited to collaborate, building a community for people to join, watching the brand slowly become real. That's the stuff that actually sticks with you. And you realize you're not just selling products anymore, you're building something people want to connect with. Looking back, there's definitely things that I would have done differently. You're always going to get that. I've enjoyed every step of the way, and I'm glad I've made those steps. I probably would have started the content game earlier. I would have leaned into the organic side of things a lot more. Even the UGC angle, I would have leaned into that. Focused a lot more on branding sooner, spent less time overthinking and just doing, and trusted the process more. Because looking back, the biggest growth usually comes from just taking the action, like I spoke about. Even imperfect action, just start. There's still so much more I need to improve on. Better content, better products, bigger collaborations, better systems, a stronger brand, a bigger community. There's always more to do, but I'm happy of the progress so far. But looking back over 10,000 orders, I'm incredibly grateful I started when I did. And I just want to say, if you're someone sitting on an idea right now, this is probably your sign to start. Just start somewhere and start now. Even if it's messy, even if nobody understands it just yet, even if it grows slowly to begin with. Because small things compound over time, far more than people realize. This is Valor Vinyl, choose Valor, and I'll see you in the next one.